you were part of probably the biggest twist in that crash sequence. Leanne just came from nowhere and suddenly she's reversed into. When you read that you were suddenly going to go from the cake fight at the wedding to the crash at the end of the week, how does it feel to be at the centre of all the drama this week?
Well, it's been really interesting because them stories that are so far apart have kind of come together. So there's all the story with Cormac and the drugs and all that. Obviously, Leanne's got her own problems with Steve and Tracy and the wedding. And so I had no idea how the two were going to kind of meet. And I think that was what was, for me, was a bit of a shock reading the scripts, because she's just going about her own business. She kind of gets caught in the crossfire, really. But obviously that kind of paves the way for the next chapter in Leanne's life, because obviously she's in hospital and she's in pretty bad shape. So it's how she will deal with that and how she will come out of it, and will she come out of it a changed person, and will she be the same Leanne she's always been, and how will it have an impact on her life? So it's great because it's the start of a new chapter for her as well.
Yeah, definitely. And do you think there could be an element of blame towards Michelle and Ryan, because all of this wouldn't have happened if this thing with Cormac and Ronan had been going on? Do you think Leanne would be quite forgiving that she was pulled into that? Or?
I think what's really interesting about all the characters that are involved in this story is, like most of the characters on the show, they're all really flawed. No more so than Leanne. She's got lots of flaws. And it's all around the same kind of people. So Leanne and Tracy have got history through the Barlows and Peter, and Leanne and Michelle have got a history through Steve and the baby, and it all kind of twirls around each other. So these characters are all kind of dancing around each other all the time. We don't always address things, we don't always do apologies, we don't always say sorry, but that paves the way for more things in the future. You know, so far as the story is unfolding, Leanne and Michelle are yet to come back together again, as are Leanne and Tracy. So it'll be interesting to see how, if there's any forgiveness on anyone's part, because I think for lots of different reasons, Leanne's to blame for Steve and Tracy, and maybe Michelle's played a part in Leanne's kind of horrible turn of events. So they've all played their part.
It's a bit of a mess, isn't it?
It is a bit of a mess, yeah.
You're good though. Sorry. And so this obviously paves the way for Ben Bryce to come back as Nick, which is great for the viewers, and there's so much history there with Leanne, Carla, Peter and the Platts and everything. How do you think Leanne's going to react to seeing it, because how things were left? It took Leanne a while to kind of get her head around all that, and basically doing vanishing it, really. So how do you think she'll react to it?
Leanne's always been one of them characters that, like, she gets up, she dusts herself off and she cracks on. But I think one of the biggest things to happen to her was that Nick left when Leanne was prepared to fix everything and make everything better and stay together. And he basically went out for a pint of milk and never came back. So there's potentially a lot to forgive there. Whether she will or not is another story. Whether they can just hook up where they left off, whether there's other things that have happened along the way. It's been nice for Leanne to have, like, a little bit of kind of a lighter moment with the Imran story with her sister, and we saw her sort of a little bit happy, and we didn't go down the kind of like bad revenge route. It was quite light-hearted. So when she was kind of feeling, oh, I'll just kind of get on with life as I usually do, it comes crashing down again. So it'll be interesting to see how it all plans out, because like you say, them characters are all dancing around each other all the time, so it paves the way for lots more stories.
Definitely. And what about you as probably Leanne's biggest fan? Do you think Nick and Leanne make a good couple, or would you be advising Leanne, look, he's had his chance, stay well clear?
I think it's a tough one, because Leanne's never had happiness for very long, but the one she seems to keep going back to is Nick. Whatever happens, he's the one that she leans towards, whether that's the right decision or not. I'd just like to see her a little bit happy for more than a few weeks.
Yeah, I mean, maybe asking a bit more.
But with them two characters, and obviously with the Platts involved, Gail doesn't like Leanne very much, and obviously Carla's in the background and Peter's over there, and they're always going to invade in their lives, so it's never going to be easy for them. But I'm hoping that there's a way that they'll just come together and they'll stay together, maybe.
And is it good for you? Because there's obviously been a number of years where not all of these main players have been in the show at once. So you know, obviously Ali had some time away, Chris did as well, and obviously Ben's back. Now all these main players in this would you call it a quadrangle with other points on it. Everyone's back. Are you really excited by that prospect?
It's great. Yeah, it's great. We joked the other day, it's like getting the band back together, because you know that any given moment this can all fall apart, or different pieces of it can get together, and because the foundations are already there, them stories have already happened, we can always draw on them experiences. And we all genuinely get on. We love working together, whether it's a 4 or 2, this 2, that 2, you know, there's so many different combinations. And of course we've got Toya in the middle of all that, who is massively involved with Peter and Nick and that relationship, and Carla's a bit of a thorn in her side, and Toya's Leanne's best friend as well as his sister. There's all that going on as well. So each time we do something, it just adds an extra layer, which for us as actors is amazing, and especially working with the group of people that you really get on with and you really trust. I think it's really important.
Yeah, it must make a difference. Yeah, and can we just briefly talk about Leanne and Steve?
Yes.
What was that about? You know, going back there again. Does she regret that? There's actually a little bit of a fan base for Leanne and Steve as a couple, isn't there?
I've noticed that.
They quite seem to like it. Do you think that could ever work long term?
I think what's great about Leanne and Steve is they're almost the same in lots of ways. They both make stupid mistakes and you want to shake them both. But I think they've known each other since they were kids. I've often looked back on like old episodes from when I first joined the show, and Leanne and Steve were always really good friends. So I think there's a fondness there. But I don't think they're right as a romantic couple. But because they share Oliver, there's always brilliant opportunities for them to play together in scenes. And obviously there's always that kind of elephant in the room that, yeah, okay, we did that when we had a drink, and you never know what the future may bring. But
how many times they're going to do it?
Yeah. But I like the fact that they're kind of, I think they do actually like each other, but just as friends.